Thanks to everyone who has left feedback and comments. The comments have been really encouraging, so that's great. YouTube still hates my channel, but there's not much I can do about that. I watch tutorials myself, mainly for video editing software and how to do things. And what I notice is that the people who make these videos leave some quite important things out. And I think it's because they don't want to treat their audience like idiots. They don't want to tell them things that they assume is obvious. But if you know nothing about a subject, then nothing is obvious. So you do need to go right back to the basics, which is what I'm trying to do with these tutorials. The way I structure these tutorials is that each new tutorial builds on information from previous ones. So once you've watched this tutorial, don't just forget it and wait for the next one. You need to memorize the information from that one, because I will assume that you've done that already. And as I said before, it's really up to you what's the best way for you personally to remember information. With the P and F consonants, they all look basically like an English W. If they've got a long stalk at the end, they make an F sound. If they're the same height, they make a P sound. Some have got the loops outside, some inside, but that's all to do with tones, and I'm not going to do tones yet. And with the S consonants, all these high class S consonants have got a little towel that goes through them. And without the towel, they make other consonants. So this one without the towel is a lorling, an L consonant. This one is a kor kwai, a K consonant. And this one is a bor bai mai, a B consonant. But when you see that towel, you know it's a high class S. That's how I remember, and you just need to work out the best way for you to remember. When you first start to learn, the learning resources for young Thai kids are very, very useful. I've already mentioned the books you can buy, which give an outline of each character in dots, and you can just trace them and learn how to write the characters, and it also helps you to remember them. They also sell these posters, and when I started to learn, I had two on my wall for about 6 months, one of consonants and one of vowels. And they're very cheap in Thailand. This one's 35 baht. You can order them online or you can buy them in bookshops. And what I did, on the consonant one, I wrote in English the initial and final consonant sound. So for example, for bo bai mai, I wrote the initial consonant sound is B and the final sound is P. And I also wrote the class of the consonant for when I got into tones later. And the information to do that can be found on my website. It's on a page called Thai Consonant Summary, which I did years ago. And I'll give a link to that in the description below. I'm going to introduce a short vowel today. It makes an sound. And in some of the examples, there might be a few consonants that we haven't done yet, but don't worry, there won't be too many, and I'll explain how they work. And there are two forms, as I said, and it depends whether the word has a final consonant or not. So if a word has an initial consonant, then the vowel, then a final consonant, it's written above the initial consonant. If the word has no final consonant, so it's just the initial consonant and the vowel, it's written this way. So my first example, we've got the four fun F consonant that we looked at before, then this short vowel above, and then the nor nu, the N consonant as a final consonant, which we've done before. So this word says fun, it just means tooth or teeth. And example below, this word doesn't have a final consonant. It just has a Georgian, a J initial consonant and the vowel, so it makes a ja sound. And that means will when you're talking in the future tense. And transliteration systems normally transliterate this vowel to an A. But the sound it makes, and this is coming from a Southern English person, because in the comments so far, I've had quite a few comments about people from different places talking different languages and different dialects, pronounce the same letters in a different way, so I do understand and appreciate this. But just from my point of view, this sound makes a fun sound, not a fan sound. Here's the first real world example. It's a sign, and we haven't covered enough to read this word yet, but this says tum, and it means in Thai to do or to make. And the second word, fun, which is tooth or teeth. And this is actually the sign for a dentist. So if you have a toothache in Thailand or want to get other things done to your teeth, this is the sign to look out for, tum fun. And the next one. This first word is the one we're looking at. So this is another consonant we haven't done yet. It's called wan, and it makes a W sign, although the transliteration system always transliterates this to a V, and I don't know why, because a V sound doesn't even exist in Thai. So when you see signs for sukhumvit, it's actually sukhumvit. So we have the wan W initial consonant, then it's called mahanagat, this vowel above the initial consonant, and then the nu final consonant, one, and that means day in Thai. And this word says dek, which means children. So day, children, noun, adjective. So in English, adjective, noun, Children's Day. And the second Saturday of every year in Thailand is Children's Day, where the local municipalities and various organisations arrange activities for children. Here's another real-world example. It's quite a tricky font, but at some stage you've got to get used to the real-world fonts that exist. Here's the word here. So this consonant, I know it doesn't look at all like the ones I've shown you before, is a go guy, like the hard G sound. And this syllable doesn't have a final consonant, so we're just using this form of the vowel, the sara So that first syllable makes the sound gat, and then second syllable we've got a tor sahan, a T initial consonant, and then the short sara it that we did before. And once again, this font here doesn't look at all like the one I showed you before, but that's just like the second stage of learning, getting used to all these funny fonts. So this word says gatti, and that's the Thai word for coconut milk that's used in a lot of Thai cooking. I think by now you understand my thoughts about transliteration, and not exactly positive. And here's just another example. I found this in one of my kids' textbooks, and it's sort of for teaching them English. So it's gun, the thing we fire bullets with, and it gives a transliteration in Thai and the Thai word boom. And I agree 100% with the transliteration into Thai. If I was asked to transliterate the English word gun, I would do it exactly the same way, no problems at all. However, there is actually a Thai word, gun. And when that gets transliterated into English, it comes back as K-A-N. So why, when it's going from English to Thai, is it this one? But when it's coming back the other way, gun gets changed to K-A-N. It just makes no sense at all. Whereas I see this one as being phonetically correct, can, K-A-N, isn't phonetically correct. I just hate this system. As I've said in some of the comments, transliteration is a necessary evil. You have to have it. If you've got 40 million tourists coming to Thailand and thousands of them descend on an airport and they're looking for their flight to Phuket and everything's written in Thai, there'll be chaos because they couldn't read anything. So you need some type of transliteration. But As a learning aid, as a language learning aid, it is completely unfit for purpose. So if you're trying to learn Thai, just avoid transliteration at all costs. Try to learn to read Thai, and then you can just circumvent the transliteration, and that's the best thing to do. Thanks again for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or other feedback, please let me know. If you have any problems, also let me know, and I'll try to help in the next tutorial. It really doesn't take too long to learn the basics. Once you know about 6 vowels and maybe 15 consonants, you'll be able to read a huge amount. And if you put some effort in, that doesn't actually take very long. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep up this one tutorial a day schedule. Next week I'm going to be unavailable quite a lot of the time, but when I do have some free time, I'll do more tutorials. So thanks again for watching, and more videos soon.